suggested, he's not been hit on the chin. Dillian Whyte can whack, and he's in great shape. And I think that Dillian's going to take this fight and go in there and go, you know what? He's going to roll the dice and punch when, you know, Moses does. And I think that is the importance here. Dillian's got to take the chance early.
You know, it could. I think it might be too soon for Moses. I think Moses is on a great run. I think Dillian, you know, if he had more momentum, it would be, I could probably stamp my authority on the decision a bit more.
Questions for Moses. Is he ready for this level? Can he take a shot? What's he like when the going gets tough? Is he overrated?
Boxing experts are warning Moses Itama about fighting Dillian Whyte, saying the match could be dangerous because of Whyte's power and long experience. Derek Chisora is surprised Whyte chose Itama, noting the young fighter is still learning, and not yet at his level. Many feel Moses should gain more experience before facing such a tough veteran, so he doesn't risk.
I had a phone call a couple of weeks ago. They offered me to fight Moses Itama in Saudi. You know, I said, how much? He said, $2 million. I said, nah, I'm out. I even phoned Dylan. I was like, Dylan, I don't know why you're taking this fight, you know, because this kid is on fire right now. And he's getting better and better. It's not like he's going backwards, he's going forward.
One of the reasons he is taking it is that Moses is WBO #1 at the moment, so that there's some kind of light at the end of the tunnel for Dillian taking that fight.
Ain't no light at the end of that tunnel.
I agree with you. I think Moses, I don't think Dillian gets beyond 4 or 5 rounds.
Yeah. You're crazy. Yeah. There's no light at that tunnel. That kid is, no, you mad. No way. Even Lawrence Okoli said Moses is bad.
Dean Whyte shares his worry about this fight, saying Dillian Whyte may be too strong for Moses Itama right now. He admits Moses is skilled and has big potential, but he is still very new in the professional ranks. Dean explains that boxing is not only about talent, but also about experience and handling pressure. He believes Moses has a bright future, but taking on Dillian too soon could slow down his progress. He advises Moses and his team to think carefully before fighting.
He's the new kid on the block, the kid with the thunder, big punch in southpaw. He's predicted to be the leading boy of the heavyweight division. So, I mean, look, it's a crossroads fight. Obviously, as you could look at it, they're saying they're hoping that the baton will be passed from him beating Dillian. I think Dillian's got other ideas, and Dillian's a man that's never should be written off. It could. I think it might be too soon for Moses. I think Moses is on a great run. I think Dillian, you know, if he had more momentum, it would be, I could probably stamp my authority on the decision a bit more. But still, Dillian's pressing, he's working hard. And if Dillian's up for it, that experience, you know, is going to play a pivotal role in that fight.
Boxing analysts agree that Moses Itama shows maturity far beyond his age in and out of the ring. They praise his skills, discipline, and his experience from over 20 amateur fights and countless sparring rounds. However, they warn this fight is a big jump in competition. Facing Dillian Whyte means going against someone who has fought world champions and top contenders. This step will test not just Moses's boxing skills, but also his mental strength and ability to adapt under the...
There's nothing to kind of deal with, because it's like, the only thing you can do is either get angry or ignore it. So I choose to keep in control of my emotions. So I just kind of ignore it. Like, I'm just only on my own path. Everybody's got their own journey. Everybody's got their own thing. But like, I'm not trying to compare anything.
Yeah.
And we was just talking about it with my coaches yesterday. It was like, you know, a lot of people put pressure because they're too worried about the outcome. I'm not worried about the outcome. I'm worried about the game plan, and then the game plan leads to the outcome. So I don't think of things that I can't control. Your opinions I can't control. Like, for example, like if I go to bed today, I wake up tomorrow morning, I still got to play the Moses Itama role.
Yeah.
So my feelings and my feelings and opinions of myself can't be based on what someone else thinks of me, because you don't have to play the Moses Itama role 24/7. I do. So I just choose to ignore him.
Dillian Whyte, right? I mean, I think it surprised a few when he got announced. It was like, okay, and all of a sudden people were like, this is an interesting fight. Old Lion versus young Lion. What do you make of Dillian Whyte and where he is now in his career?
I think I might be boxing the best Dillian Whyte there is, because you know, this is his last chance. So I just got to kind of stop him from coming back into the division. To be honest, for a long time,
A training partner who has been working with Dillian Whyte gives his view on Whyte's condition. He says Whyte looks better than he has in years, moving with sharpness and focus in training. His punches carry heavy power, his footwork is clean, and his stamina in sparring is impressive. The training partner adds that Dillian's focus is unmatched and that he is taking this fight very seriously, something that could create real problems for Moses.
I ain't frustrated media, I was frustrated people talking shit, and then when they come and see him in shape and different mindset, then they start changing their minds and opinion. I'm like, yo, I have the same energy, bro. I have the same energy. When I'm 118, 120 kilos, I have the same energy, because now I'm light and I look like I'm in shape. Then now everybody's like, oh, yeah. I'm like, yo, come on, man. You know, I don't need to be 100% to win some fights, because I'm a fighter, I know what to fight. He's had more amateur fights than me and all of this other shit. You know, he's doing what he's meant to know. And one thing is, he's got the what's the word I'm looking for? The ignorance of inexperience. You know, I didn't say it right, but I'm tired. Yeah, ignorance of youth or whatever the it is. Yeah, I'm not a chump, bro. You know, I'm not a chump. You know, obviously people writing me up, but I'm not a chump. I'm not a chump. So let's see what happens Saturday.
Dillian, one word. What can we expect on Saturday night?
What I always bring, man. I always bring that. With me, there's always that unpredictability in the ring, you know what I mean?
Dillian Whyte sends a strong warning to Moses Itama, saying he should not be taken lightly. He makes it clear he is no easy opponent, and that his experience, toughness, and fighting spirit make him different from anyone Moses has faced. Dillian highlights the energy gap between them, pointing out that his years in boxing, tough battles, and survival in big fights.
I sparred Dillian the last time when he fought against Fury, and he developed very good. Like, he's in good shape for his upcoming fight against Itama. I think he's in great shape.
A TalkSport analyst gives an interesting opinion, saying that even though Dillian Whyte didn't look great in recent fights, this time seems different. He points out that Dillian's current form is strong and warns people not to overlook him. He highlights improvements in training intensity, strategy, and fitness, suggesting this version of Whyte could shock many fans. He says this fight is not only a test for Moses, but also a chance for Dillian.
Now, Itama only had about 20 or so amateur fights. He has done a lot of sparring, but again, sparring is behind closed doors. You're in an environment that you feel comfy in. You're away from the scrutiny of the camera. You're not allowed, strictly speaking, you're not really allowed, and most gyms won't allow you to record a spar. They might show you a glimpse of footage, but you're talking 5 seconds, maybe, if even. So he's been kind of away in his own comfort zone. He's fought on big shows as co-main event. I believe him against McKeon was co-main event on Fury Usyk too. But again, he's going in as the firm favourite against the fighter he's expected to beat, and he's the bridesmaid, right? He's fought in the he's fought in the York Hall a couple of times. He's fought low down the card. You know, Itama has always been that guy. You know, he can learn his craft. He's not strictly, you know, the eyes of the world are on you, etc. Getting bigger, and, you know, more people are talking about him, but still, you know, comfy at his own pace. Now his first headline. Bear in mind, Joshua's first headline, I believe, was at the O2 against Gary Cornish. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one, but I know he headlined that night. And this is his first headline. A pay-per-view in Saudi Arabia against Dillian Whyte, and all the media work that comes with it. You did a face-off on Monday. You had the grand arrivals yesterday. You're doing the public workout today. You're doing the press conference tomorrow. You're doing the weigh-in tomorrow. Or you're doing the weigh-in on Friday. Now you're doing fight night on Saturday. You'll have a press conference most likely after. Lots going on. Lots going on for a young man at 20. How is he taking all that? And that's what I'm wondering. It really, again, you know, you compare him to maybe someone like an Anthony Joshua, and it's like, well, AJ had, you know, all this experience in the amateurs. He had, you know, the Sky, you know, machine behind him and stuff like that. But he was a lot older than Itama. Again, how old would AJ have been? What, mid to late 20s? 25, 26, thereabouts. So old enough to be, you know, a bit more sturdy in that. It does have me wondering with Atelma. It is a wonder. But personally, I think Atelma, when I look at him, I think that there's something there with this kid. I think he's got an old head on young shoulders. I think that this is the first, look, it's his first time headliner, it's the first pay-per-view. It probably will be jeers.
Moses Itama talks about his training for the fight, making it clear he is working hard every day with his coaches. He confidently says each training session is built to sharpen his skills and improve fitness. While some people around him worry about the challenge, Moses brushes off their concerns, saying only he knows his true ability. He believes in his strength, mindset, and readiness to face pressure against a veteran like Dillian Whyte.
No, relax. Moses has been performing under the bright lights, but what I'm saying is, it's still so early and he's got a lot to prove. Up until this point, I can't argue. He's passed every test with flying colours, but the problem is, he's passed so easily, he's missed out on valuable lessons along the way, and he's now got a very experienced veteran in front of him, in Dillian Whyte, who's been at world level. Everybody's written Dillian off, but recently, seeing interviews and seeing training footage, I'm liking what I'm seeing. I've got to be honest, my mind's starting to shift. Let's take a look and discuss the key takeaways.
I don't think I've ever seen you be this big an underdog in a fight. You are like 1-14.
Dev asked Dillian, how does he feel being the underdog?
And that's what makes you dangerous. As an underdog, you're underneath. You get up at them testicles and lock onto them, and it's game over.
It's crazy really because, like I said, he's fought at world level, fighting the likes of Povetkin, Fury, Chisora, AJ, Parker, the list goes on. But in sports, you're only as good as your last performance. In Dillian's last fight, he looked terrible, putting it politely.
Has he put something in you? Because like your last few fights, Ebenezer like instilled a fear, not...
No man has put anything in me. Pause this.
Dillian does make me laugh. Dark humour. But maybe that says more about me. He says it the way it is. There's no sugar coating. Dev says, is this the biggest risk he's took in his career? Which again is madness.
All of them has been massive. Because you think, no one's ever had me as the favourite. Think of one fight that was the favourite. Just think.
Dylan's right. He's always the underdog. It's nothing new.
How do you reflect on your fight with Tete?
It was what it was. Listen, I've been walking the long, lonely, dark road for 3 years.
This is the thing. People forget that fighters go through things outside of the ring which affect the performance, but us fans only judge the performance. At the end of the day, fighters are human, they're not robots.
Then that fight for me was, ask myself a question, can I take a good whack and push through? Can I force myself to put the jabs in? Can I...
He admits he wasn't in great shape, but that fight for him was about dipping his foot in the water and seeing if he still got it and still wants it.
I had a few injuries and stuff going into the fight, but it is what it was. But that fight reignited the spark in me.
Some analysts see this fight as a do-or-die moment for Dillian Whyte. They believe if he loses to a young fighter like Moses Itama, his career at the top could be over. That makes him even more dangerous, as he will fight with hunger and desperation to win. Dillian knows a victory would make him a contender again, while a loss would raise big doubts about his future. This high-stakes fight,
we've not really seen him, and that's where his weakness could be.
Of course. I mean, if you try to go out there and blast him out, you're playing into his hands because he's young, he's fast, and he can punch. So sometimes you gotta walk him down.
You've been part of the Dillian Whyte team now. Dillian Whyte joined you, right? He left Mark Tibbs and said, "Okay, I need Buddy McGirt." You've been part of the team for a while. Do you have any say on the opponent? Now, does he come to you, for example, and say, "Look, okay, this is what we want to do," and then you can kind of give him guidance, or is it a case of, "This is the opponent. Get me ready for this opponent, buddy"?
Well, it's like this. In a situation like this, when they come to you, he said to me, "Listen, buddy, this is what they're putting on the table for me." I said, "So what do you want to do?" I mean, I don't want to say, "Yeah," and you're not feeling it. I want to see what you're feeling. And he goes, "I got to go for it." So, all right, let's go. We're a team. So if that's what we got to do, that's what we got to do. I mean, if we got to go through this hailstorm to get to the other side of the we got to do what we got to do.
Buddy, I saw something the other day, and I don't believe you. I want to pull you up on it. I think I saw that you said you haven't seen Moses box before, and you don't watch your opponent's box. But I don't believe you, buddy. I don't believe you.
I swear to you. I will not lie to you.
Oladipo studies Dillian Whyte's preparation and sees a fighter refreshed both physically and mentally. he notes that White has trained with discipline, lost extra weight, and regained the sharpness that once made him a top contender. Footage shows him moving with speed, accuracy, and aggression like his best days. This renewed Dillian could force Moses to dig deeper than ever and face challenges he has not seen before. For White, taking this fight has already put him back in boxing talks. If he beats Moses Itama, it will be a huge statement for his career. Some also note that Moses has not yet fought on this big...
All of a sudden, people have seen the shape that... I saw a video, which I'm guessing you guys have seen as well, of Dillian White hitting the heavy bag and doing a bit of a bit of shadow boxing. He looked incredible. Dillian White... me and G-Man did the look back, didn't we? Dillian White versus Chisora. And Dillian White looked in incredible shape there. And I was thinking, if he can get close to that, he's close to that. He's close to that. Dillian White in his last few fights has been around the 260 mark. I think it might have even been heavy for a couple. I think he looks low 250s. And all I can ask from a fighter, this is why I get so pissed off with Martin Bakole, just get in shape. Like, skill's skill. You're not going to change a fighter from fucking where you are to Muhammad Ali. I'm not asking for that. Just get in shape. Dillian White has ticked that box. And he's like, okay, if you think I'm going over to Saudi Arabia just to get smoked by this 20-year-old, we'll see. That's what I'm taking from the shape I'm seeing him in, because he looks incredible. And also, when he's firing out his jab in that little shadow boxing, his arms are so long. Like, Dillian White, compared to his body structure, he has overly long arms. What I'm getting at is that Dillian White can box a bit as well, you know. He's not just a brawler. Like, he's been tagged as this brawler. He can box a little bit. Is he a better boxer than Moses? No. But that jab could be key. Jab's always key, right? We always talk about it. But one thing I see with Dillian White being in this shape is that he's saying, if I can take this young boy past 6, we're going to go into deep waters that this young boy's never been before. And it's all well and good Moses saying, I'm sparring 10 rounds, I'm sparring 12 rounds. And, I was on TalkSport when he mentioned this yesterday. Fighting 10 rounds is different. Fighting 12 rounds is different. Dillian White's done that. And look, sometimes Dillian White's blown out of his arse. Sometimes Dillian White's been beat in those 12-round fights. But Dillian White has done that. There's a difference. And Dillian White, for me, looks like a guy that's in shape to go the distance, or to at least to ask questions of this young pup.
Dillian sees this fight as a chance to prove hype is not enough at the top level and that true experience matters. Recent training clips of him have caught fans and analysts' attention, ending doubts about his form. After a break and some poor performances, many had counted him out, but the new footage shows something different. He trains with urgency, knowing what is at stake. His punches are powerful, his combinations flow smoothly, and his conditioning looks sharp. His body shape is...
That since late 18, right? I remember him knocking out Lucas Brown. When he knocked out Lucas Brown, he looked like he was in the best shape of his life. He looks similar or better now, which is very impressive. And I think, like Terence Crawford, people are now looking at Dillian White. Seeing is believing. When we see results, we start believing in those results. I think now people understand that Dillian White has taken this very seriously. He's been out of the ring for a long time. His last 2 opponents quit. Teta and Hammer, they both quit. And I think that Dillian, this is his last hurrah. If it's his last hurrah, if it's his last time to shine, he has nothing to lose. Why not go out with a bang? Why not go in the best shape possible? Why not do what you're supposed to do in training camp? Okay, because you can't really predict what happens in that ring except you and that other guy. It's up to you or that other guy. But in training camp, you have a team around you. You have determination. You have motivation. You have discipline, more than likely. Okay. And I think that Dillian White is looking great, bro. He is looking great. He doesn't have the unbalanced body type like you normally see him. He's too big upper body, legs are small. You know what I mean? He's all off balance because of the imbalance of his body. But I do think that Dillian White will come in to make a splash, and this is how you're supposed to look if you intend on doing it. I love the way he looks. He looks great. He looks in shape. He looks like he's ready for a battle. That's what it's about.